Alright everyone, welcome back. In this video we're going to talk about exchange overview and funding your exchange. So I'm here in Bittrex right now. Bittrex is one of the biggest exchanges. There are two exchanges currently that control the most volume of alternative currency trades. You have Bittrex and then you have Poloniex. Those are the two trades. They're both very good. They both have the highest volume. And a little hint, and we'll talk about this in our advanced trading strategies a little bit later, but some exchanges you can actually buy alternative currencies lower than other exchanges. So say for example we have Ethereum, or say we have Lumen, for example, this coin right down here, Lumen. Say we have Lumen, which is XLM, which is a great coin. We have an opportunity to buy it on Bittrex, for example, at 740 Satoshi. But on Poloniex, it's 760 Satoshi at the same time. There's actually methods where we can actually go from buying on one exchange, bringing it over to another exchange, selling it on there for a greater profit because we have an increased margin because we were able to buy on another exchange for a lower price point, if that makes sense. But we'll talk about that in advanced strategies. So I'm here in Bittrex, the home page right here. Right on the home page, you can actually see all these markets. So there's Bitcoin markets, there's Ethereum markets, and then there is USDT markets. All right, we won't get into that too much. We're focusing on Bitcoin. But as you've seen, Ethereum, Litecoin, those type of coins have their own markets. So on some of the exchanges, you can actually exchange Lumen for Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash for Ethereum, Ripple for Ethereum, and different things like that. The concept is all the same. It's all trading, but there are a couple coins that have become so powerful, much similar to Bitcoin, that they have their own markets. For example, you can trade alternative currencies for Ethereum, just like you can trade alternative currencies for Bitcoin. We're going to focus on Bitcoin and keep it simple in here. You can see right in here that you have all of these different currencies, and you go across the top, you can look at what is the market. Okay, Einsteinium for Bitcoin, NXT for Bitcoin, the volume, the daily volume, the change, gone up 13.9%, gone down 39.4%. Do you see how almost every single coin is down right now? Here's why. When Bitcoin is on a surge, generally speaking, the holders of alternative currencies get scared. They don't want to lose more. So they liquidate their assets in exchange for Bitcoin, thus driving up the Bitcoin value. They take away the demand of the alternative currency and recirculate it back into Bitcoin, thus driving up the price. So when people see that Bitcoin starts to go up in value, and then the media gets involved and says, oh, Bitcoin's approaching a record, it's getting a huge breakthrough, like, oh my gosh, it's going to keep going up in value, and the media and the news and all the publications come out and people start listening to that, the holders of alternative currencies, they drop it and they go, oh no, like we're losing money. And then they go over and they move it back into Bitcoin, thus driving up the value of Bitcoin and bringing down the value of the alternative currency. For us experienced seasoned traders and what you're looking to become, we look at this all as opportunity, going, oh my gosh, when the tables are turned and the cards are flipped, and I can stock up on XLM right now, 42% lower than it was earlier today. I'm going to get a whole bunch of these coins, millions of them as a matter of fact, and then when Bitcoin tanks again, I'm going to be able to get an immense amount of profit, a huge profit, and then be able to sell that out and accumulate my Bitcoin again. Because when you're trading, you're doing it for one of two reasons. You're either trading to accumulate Bitcoin, so buying low, selling high, and accumulating Bitcoin, or you are doing it for the accumulation of large volume, very promising, very powerful, well-established alternative currencies such as Ethereum or Litecoin, for example. So in here, it shows the currency, it shows the daily volume, the daily change in a percentage, the last price, the 24-hour high, the 24-hour low, and the spread, and then actually the date added. And I could actually like click this and it would change. It would go to the oldest currencies on the exchange, or I could go to the highest volume. All right, and we're going to get into what all of these mean when we start to get into our basic trading fundamentals and our advanced trading fundamentals. But right now I just want to give you an overview. So home page in here, right? if you want to look up a certain coin, you can go into markets and you can type in the abbreviation for the coin, for example, like XLM, and then it will go to this coin's chart. So this is a coin chart here for XLM, aka Lumen, and over on the right you'll see all of this data here. The last trade, the Bitcoin volume for the day, the bid, the ask, the 24-hour high, and the 24-hour low. Now with the ask and bid, what you need to know is the asks are controlled by the coin holders, the people who actually own the coin right now. The bids are controlled by the people that are trying to obtain the coin or trying to buy. Okay? So you can see right now that you've got a bid that's green and an ask that's red. That means the bid is going up. The ask is also now going up because it just changed to green. So the market is slightly moving upward right now, this particular second in it. Now it's going back down. You can see how fluidic this is. And a lot of that has to do with how much volume a coin has. Good coins to trade are oftentimes, or always, the coins that actually have volume. Okay, if you're looking to make profits, they need to have volume. But we'll get into the analytics and the basic and advanced fundamentals of trading later. You're actually going to be able to take charts like this and look at them entirely different. Right now, you might be looking at it and going, wow, this is gibberish. I mean, I can tell up and down, like I kind of get that. Green is up, red is down. But other than that, guys, you're going to be able to look at this and go, okay, I can see an Adam and Eve double. I know what that is. I can see an actual trend here. I can see a bull market. I can see a bear market. I can see where to create profits on the front side of a trend and the back side of a trend. I understand that. You're going to be able to look with anticipation and actually know what the market is going to do in the future. You'll actually be able to have all the indicators in your possession to be able to go, okay, I know which way the market's going. I know how to effectively enter or exit this trade for a maximum amount of profit. Because when you're trading, you're doing it for one of two things. You're either using alternative currencies as a strategy to achieve more Bitcoin accumulation, or you're using alternative currencies to invest more into coins such as Litecoin and Ethereum and build an accumulation of Litecoin, Ethereum, Dashcoin, or one of those coins where they already have a very promising future to turn into a very similar trend that Bitcoin is currently doing, where it goes from being worth nothing to $19,000, for example. These coins will do that. So you're either doing it as a strategy to buy low, sell high, to accumulate more Bitcoin, or buy low, sell high to accumulate very well established, important, volatile cryptocurrencies. All right, so if we move down here, a couple good things to see in this data here. So order books, asks, bids, all this stuff. What's happening here is with the asks, these are the coin holders saying, hey, we're asking 751 Satoshi for this coin. See this 8-digit number? This is called Satoshi. Satoshi developed Bitcoin. This is a Satoshi value. It's 8 digits behind the decimal. So this is what we call a Satoshi. 0.0000750. This is 750 Satoshi. If there was a 1 in front of this, it would be now 1752 Satoshi. If there was a 1 in front of that, it would be 11,752 Satoshi, and so on. All right? Does that make sense? Good. Moving on. The asks are controlled by the coin holders. The bids are controlled by the coin buyers, the people that are wanting to buy the coin. The ask is always going to be higher than the buy, because what you have going on is sellers saying, hey, we'll sell, but we're going to ask 752 for it. And you've got the buyers saying, hey, we'll bid, we'll buy, but we're only going to pay 750 for it. If you are looking to enter into a market and you dictate that, hey, this is a good time to buy, you can place a bid simply by scrolling up right here, and you'll have an available amount of Bitcoin, for example. You'll enter the amount, and say I had like a whole bunch of Bitcoin available right now. What I'd literally do is I would just copy this right here. It'd tell me I have 0.016 XLM that I can buy with my available amount of Bitcoin. And say I wanted to only pay, or say I wanted to bid 746. I can actually click a number down here, like say I wanted to enter in a bid at 742. I could do that, and you see how it populates here? Or I could just change it really quick by going 39. All right. I want to pay 739 Satoshi for 0.016 XLM, and then I click buy, and it's going to place my buy order, and my buy order will be populated in the bids down here with a star. Makes sense? Likewise, if I wanted to sell, so say right now I have 1972 XLM available. I could click this and it'll populate it down here. Now we're going to talk about the strategies of entering into a trade market or exiting a trade market in our basic and advanced trading strategies in our later videos. But for right now, I just want to show you the overview, so I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to act though as if I was selling. So say I was selling 572. I do that, and say I said, okay, 746, I'll sell at 746. I could do that, populate it here, and it tells me that that's going to be equivalent to 0.004 Bitcoin, which is only about maybe $40, $50. It's not that much, but I could sell it right now. I'm not going to because it's a bad time to sell. The market is down. It's a buyer's market right now. It's a good time to buy. All right, because it's honestly, this is relative to when I'm recording this video. For the last several weeks here, or if not a month, it's not been lower. This is a great time to buy. And what you're going to notice also is, like on the last page, on the home page of Bittrex I showed you, you might have noticed that all the alternative currencies are down. Once again, when Bitcoin is on a massive spike, alternative currencies for the most part tend to go down. That creates opportunities for us seasoned advanced traders. For people that are striking fear in their hearts and fear in their minds, they're selling out to exchange their alternative currencies back for Bitcoin because they see Bitcoin going up. And what that's doing for us is, because Bitcoin is spiking up in value, we have sellers selling, allowing opportunities for buyers to buy, and for buyers to buy at lower rates. And because we have things like the media and blogs and news saying Bitcoin's going to create an all-time record high, it drives Bitcoin up. It takes away the attention of the alternative currencies, and those people that hold alternative currencies, they sell out in fear because they don't see it as an opportunity. When it's a low market, they think they're losing, and then they go exchange it back for Bitcoin, and now it's created opportunities for all of us looking to invest or enter a trade. So if I wanted to sell, I'd go this 572, but say I didn't want to sell at 751, I could just go like this. Maybe I want to sell at, maybe I think that it's going to hit 1050 Satoshi, and instead of having a 0.0043 gross, I want to have a 0.0059, almost 0.006. I want to add, $20, $30 to my profit. I could do that, and I'd click sell. It would populate a star. Now, there is an entire strategy towards making sure that your asks or your sells will fill, or your bids or your buys will fill. As you can see, as I'm talking, this is constantly changing and constantly moving. There is strategies to that, basic and advanced, which we are going to cover later. But for now, I wanted you guys to just see the basics of it. And once again, you're going to be able to analyze and withdraw so much information from these charts. You're going to be able to just do this like a wizard and be like, oh my gosh, I see opportunities daily. You literally will, because I see opportunities every single day, and you don't have to be invested in that many coins. Now let's go over to wallets. How do we actually fund our exchange wallet? Very simple. Very, 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 very simple. Now, I've put a couple $1,000s in alternative currencies to just show you this, how it would look in here. So you can see I'm invested in Syscoin, XEM, Scicoin, which is XC, XLM, Power, Bitcoin Gold, and so on. I have a very low Bitcoin balance in here right now because I'm actually holding the value of my coins in alternative currencies. Now, a novice would go, well, geez, if you just kept it in Bitcoin. I entered into here with 0.25 Bitcoin, okay? It's down 0.11 Bitcoin. If I had held this in Bitcoin, I'd have like $4,300 in Bitcoin right now. But most people would be looking at this going, wow, you've lost $2,000. I have just increased my holdings because I've been able to use that Bitcoin to obtain more of these coins when they're in a low market. And when they go back up, they're going to go way back up beyond where my holdings are because I placed my entrances into the trade very strategically, and I'll make an exponential amount. Very easy. How do you fund your exchange wallet? This goes for Bittrex, it goes for Poloniex, or any exchange. Your Bitcoin wallet. See the minus and the plus? Minus is withdraw, plus is add. Minus is withdraw, plus is add. So we're going to click plus, and it's going to generate a wallet address or the QR code. We take this, we're going to copy it. We go over to our wallet over here. We go to send. We paste in our wallet address, enter the amount that we want to put in there, and we send our Bitcoin into the exchange. If we want it there faster, once again, you can make it priority from your sending wallet, and that problem is solved. What will happen is you'll refresh this page, and within a few minutes, you will see a pending deposit down here. Once it has confirmations, you will have an available balance, which will show right up here, available balance. It will show right in here. You now have Bitcoin to go ahead and purchase or buy into alternative currencies. That's how that works. It's very simple, guys. It works the same on all exchanges. And once again, Poloniex is another good exchange platform that you can use. You can create an account right here. All of the information in Poloniex, all of the data, very similar. You're going to find all of the same data in Poloniex that you would in Bittrex. Poloniex has a couple advanced features that even I myself don't use. There's margin trading and there's lending where you can actually like lend your Bitcoin to other traders in exchange for a percentage of the profit that they make, which is good for some consistent low risk income. But I prefer to just control my own trades because I can make far more with it rather than doing this at all and giving up any of my Bitcoin for things that I can make more in. So I don't really do that. But Poloniex, very similar to Bittrex, you can use them. These are the two biggest exchanges with the most amount of coins available to trade and the biggest volume, all right? So Bittrex, that's your wallets. The other thing is when you have placed orders. So say I placed a buy order or placed a sell order, or I have a sell order waiting to fill because the market hasn't gone up that high yet, or I have a buy order waiting to fill because the market hasn't gone down that low yet. I can go into orders, I can see my completed orders, and I can see my pending orders or my open orders, okay? And I'll show you, you'll be able to actually tell right in here. So you can see I have a sell order on SYS at 10,000 Satoshi. I have a sell order on Power at 8,800 Satoshi, and I have a sell order on SYS at 3,750. When these sell, I'm going to have 0.05, 0.78. I will have, 0.113 Bitcoin, something like that. It'll be like $1,800 that those will gross. Now you can see these are open orders. They're waiting to fill. Just like if I had a buy order waiting to buy, it'd be waiting to fill up here. I can simply click X to cancel them right up here. It's not that hard. And here's my completed. So let's see, for example, see I bought SYS at $29.90 and I bought SYS at 3,056. I bought 1,334 coins. Here's something to look at, guys. So SYS, I bought on 12, let's see, 12, let me scroll down a little bit more because I know I did this a few times. So let's look back here, 12.4, 11.10, okay. All right. So I want to show you a profit that I was able to make here. All right. So see, I have SYS, 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 and SYS. I have a buy on SYS here for 1,287 coins at 3,100 Satoshi. And then I have a sell on SYS, 640 coins at 34.99. So see my buy on SYS at 3,100 and my sell on SYS the very same day, just 2 hours later, 2.5 hours later, I sold for almost 400 Satoshi up. 400 Satoshi is 5-6 cents, guys. So I made 5-6 cents on every single one of these. If we actually look, so we take 34.99 from 3,100, that's 399 Satoshi. So Bitcoin value to USD. Oops, I messed that up in the spelling. So we'll take 399 Satoshi and we will look at that. So if I take this right here and I go 0.12345,399, 7 cents. Worth 7 cents. So I made a 7-cent profit on 640 coins. And that's a strategy you'll learn about a little bit later. I don't keep all my eggs in one basket. I don't sell all right away because what if it keeps going up? And then I just sold all of mine. I have no power. I have no leverage left. So I made 7 cents on 640 coins. if you take 640 times 7 cents, 640 times 0.07, it's a $44.80 profit. And it happened in a 2.5 hour period. This particular day, I saw 3 opportunities to do that. 3 opportunities to do that. And I could have just rinsed and repeated and made a $150 trade on literally just 640 coins off of a very small investment. Look at that, very small investment, and done it 3 times. Imagine if you did that every single day, because you can. You literally can. There's opportunities every single day to trade. So you can see completed orders, open orders, go back to wallets, and once again the wallets is going to show where and what you contain placements in the trades, whether you hold Bitcoin or Syscoin or Ripple or Dash or Ethereum, whatever. It's going to show all your available balances. Available balance is what you have available to trade, to sell, all that stuff. Pending deposit is if you have a pending deposit going in. So say I'm actually depositing Bitcoin into here. It will show up as a pending deposit here and also down here. Reserved means I simply have a reserve on 3,788 Syscoin because I have a sell order in that it hasn't filled yet. It needs to go up before that sells, and when that sells, I'll have whatever that equivalent amount in Bitcoin is that day. It'll be back in my available balance here. Estimated Bitcoin value, the change, you can see all of them are down right now because Bitcoin is on a massive pump. It's on a bull run right now. It's going up. Bull means going up, bear means going down. We will see you in the next video where I'm actually going to explain Satoshi value and Japanese candlesticks. Japanese candlesticks are those red and green bars that we see on these graphs that we don't have any idea what those mean at this point. I'm going to be breaking that down, explaining to you candlestick science and Satoshi value. We'll see you in the next video.